we had a fire in Wisconsin this past summer where they were charging lithium batteries, and it was for a drone, and the battery started on fire and burnt down a multi-million-dollar house.
Wow.
The fire department couldn't stop the fire. We had the exact same scenario in Ohio, where the battery started on fire. They went there with a 6-liter extinguisher of ours, about $8,000 damage, and they went back home less than 45 minutes later.
Yeah, because
the right tool, right place, right time.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you don't have time to react. At the time that it happens, that's not when you can go, oh, I need to go order one of these. No, it's way too late. You need to be prepared ahead of time. That's why it's called preparedness, right? And that's what we're trying to do here, folks. We're not trying to scare anybody. We're just trying to make you put the brakes on for a minute and really think about it and just prepare yourselves. Much like you said about those folks that were on the motorcycle riding, right? They never anticipated a million years that something was going to short out that battery and cause a fire. But they're sure going to double check and have a checklist from then on, right? And that's what we're hoping. We're hoping some of these stories. Rick, you're a great storyteller, by the way. He is. He's amazing. So I could just listen to this guy tell stories all day. But no, the reason for them are to really make them stay in your head, make you think about steps that you can take, because Rick and Amy have taken the time to walk you through it. And just, some of it's common sense, some of it's bad luck, I don't know, but just little things like you said, like make sure you don't put the phone on a chair.
Yeah.
Because it's going to build up heat. Like, people just don't think of that,
And the other thing is that Amy and I and our whole team's done a lot of shows, and I made a comment the other day. I wanted to take a can of spray paint with us. We were doing a show, and we're talking to people and about, I don't plan on having a fire, or that's why I have insurance. I just wanted to put a big X on their back and say, if you go to their house and they've got my X on, just keep driving. I don't plan on having an auto accident, but I do have proper coverage so that I'm prepared. I don't plan on, needing falling down the stairs tonight, but I do have medical and dental insurance. That's all we say is, and we joke about it at Fire Suppression when people come in and buy things. Thank you for coming. I hope you never use it. It's like buying an insurance policy, because when you need it, it is too late. And another thing that really bothers me and the team and Amy, and I'm going to let Amy talk about it, is there are a lot of people that are sitting at home right now, and they think they have their family protected because they've got a dry chem extinguisher or another one. Amy, you want to explain about the how some are using the word batteries on the...
Yeah. So the other thing that is kind of a challenge for us is every product that we sell, we test. We know it works. We will not sell anything that will not do what it's intended to do, because the last time you want to find that out is in your time of need. And so there are some other brands out there that talk about extinguishing battery fires, but they're not really talking about lithium ion battery fires. And so some people have purchased those products thinking, oh, I'm covered for a lithium ion battery fire, and the word battery is on there. Well, they're talking about a nickel hydride battery or something else, because it will work on those types of things. And part of the reason that regular extinguishers don't work is because they're attacking the oxygen, right? They're removing the oxygen from the fire. The difference with the product that we have is a cooling agent. It does not attack the oxygen. And what happens with lithium ion batteries is when they're in thermal runaway, they make their own oxygen. So it's self-propelling when it's on fire, because it feeds itself its own oxygen. So that way, if it's encapsulated, it's not going to extinguish, because it's just going to keep producing the oxygen underneath that cover. So that's an important thing for people to know, is, what will work and what won't work for things. And so you always want to kind of do some investigation. There are some products out there that, like I said, will say they'll do a battery fire on it. It might even be a cheaper brand product, but you always want to make sure you're vetting it to make sure that it works.
And if I can throw this at you, and this is something I I'm extremely proud of our CEO, Amy, for doing is after our team burned and exploded and burned more batteries and everything, Amy said, great, I'm glad that you all retired cops and firemen and everything, gave us your opinion and everything. And she went out and got another set of eyes that are the 4 craziest firefighters in the world. Amy, can you?
Well, I don't know that I would want to refer to them as that. The Hazmat Guys is an independent group of New York firefighters that were on Hazmat One. So it's a nationally and actually internationally known team of just awesome guys that have a ton of experience in hazmat experience and real life experience, and went out and in their retirement looked to do education and consulting on things. And so they have a company called the Hazmat Guys. They are probably the most brutal set of guys when it comes to presenting products and information because they believe nothing. They believe nothing, from what you say or what they're always like, show me. And we work with them and they've seen a lot of products come through. A lot of people have asked them to vet their products. And we had to talk to them for like 9 months to convince them to even test some of our products. We were able to send them out there. They took a look at them and they're like, this is kind of interesting. So they wanted to see more. So we partnered with them to bring them out to do demonstrations for them to see hands-on how it works. We told them test however you want, whatever you want, to make sure that you're comfortable with our product doing what it says it's going to do. And when we did a burn, they were all trying to make it fail. They were all trying really hard. And they kept saying, we can't believe that this stuff works. We can't believe that this stuff works. So we were able to, in showing them, how great the product is, created a partnership with them. So now they are kind of our third party independent verification that our product does work, and have partnered with us to help get that word out about there is something that will extinguish a lithium-ion battery fire.
And they're teaching it as we speak right now in Houston at the Hazmat conference. Amy did an amazing job. Worked out a partnership that gives them the right to talk about it. Amy was on their podcast with Paul, one of our scientists, and they said we tried to make it fail and we couldn't. So it's great honor to know that we had some of the most recognized, the holy grail of the fire service, do testing it. They actually came to the International Battery Show with us. We're going down with them to a conference in Florida, which will be the biggest hazmat conference of the big hazmat teams, to present with them. And like I said, just when we tell people that they are our partners now in teaching, it gives it a whole new level of recognition and credibility.
So somebody who might be watching this is, I like the bottle. Oh, but I bet it's expensive.
It's not. It's not, considering what can happen if a lithium-ion battery fire goes unextinguished. But basically, it retails for $29.99. So Batteries Plus stores, carry them. So we created a partnership with Batteries Plus, so they have them in their stores. It's on their website. You can also buy it on our website. It's available there. So considering the amount of investment, it's an average price for an extinguisher. It's small but mighty. We definitely want to say that. The thing that I like about it is it's super easy to use. There's no gauge on it. It doesn't have to be charged. You literally just pull the cap off, point, and spray. It's an eco-friendly, non-toxic product, which is also nice. As he's mentioned, he does light a lot of stuff on fire, and I pretty much hose everything off when he's done with it, and it takes care of it. So very easy to clean up versus a dry chem extinguisher.
The other thing is, and Amy said we have to do because she loves to help educate people, is she's going to offer your audience a discount and a discount code so they can save a few dollars buying it. But even better, we're going to turn some money back to your organization. And that's not me because that's just not me. But Amy, why don't you tell them?
Yeah, so we are offering a discount code to order through our website, and the code is RC2025. So we'll offer you a discount.
That is so amazingly humbling. I can't even let you know what that means. Not just means to us, the podcast, obviously, but means to the RC community, because that's really caring. That's really partnership, saying, hey, we want to help kind of save some folks. The show too, we've given away stuff. We give away, custom mats, and we give away wraps, and with our from our sponsor Carpies, and all the fun stuff, right? And we'll continue to do that. But we are going to buy a certain amount of these, and we're going to start to give these away. We do what's called the RC Radio Roadshow, and when we go to these road shows, we give things out. And I want to buy them and have those with. And the first time that we hear that somebody was in the pits and they say, hey, I never expected it, but this happened, and here's how we took care of it, we're all going to sleep better at night, right? So thank you, Amy. Thank you, Rick, for that great, amazing offer to us. And we will run that throughout the show, and we'll continue to run it. Again, that's RC 2025. And it's already not expensive. And like Amy elegantly said, is that, you can't put a price on losing your stuff, losing your friends, losing yourself, right? So an under 30 price point, guys, some of this crazy stuff we spend money on for RC cars, well over $30. So just take a little safety, have it. It's going to fit right in your box. That's what I really like too, is the size of it. It doesn't really come, it really doesn't become you should really do that. It becomes why wouldn't you do it? It doesn't make any sense not to. It's just insurance that, you can go out and have a good time with your friends and your family and your kids, and you got them in your car. Think about it. If something like that breaks out in your vehicle when you're driving from an RC race, because we all know what we do. It's late at night. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. We're just throwing our stuff in the car, and I'll organize it when I get home. Well, then Rick tells a story where, this just happened to touch up against the guy's keys, or, this just touched up a piece of against aluminum. We have all that kind of stuff in our cars when we're throwing it in there at the end of the night, not thinking. Be ready, be prepared, and just be able to relax and know you're covered. Now, with that, Rick, I would say, okay, you buy the system that you showed the camera on. We've got the bottles. We got that. What's just kind of a quick, okay, now that you've got everything, it breaks out. Here's step 1. Here's step 2. Here's step 3. I would imagine you got to be somewhat organized in how you're doing it, instead of getting all, oh my gosh, there's a fire. Like, how should you engage?
So the first thing is, when a situation like that happens, I don't care if you're a trained firefighter, trained police officer, trained EMS, it's training that takes over. It's muscle memory. And it's no different than you guys driving that RC car. When a car smashes in front of you and you quick make a maneuver so the car, that's muscle memory. That's what just did that. All those other times lapse around and around and around. That's what takes over. And that's the same thing that happens in a time of emergency. So when we talk to people and say, train, think about it, having your thing. Amy jokes about it with me. I always make sure there's an exit between, if I'm doing fire safety, I talk to the people. The most important thing, if you don't feel comfortable, get out. We can replace everything else, but we can't replace you. So get out. Then the next thing is, if you're going to grab your small bottle to stay safe and try to suppress the fire, is make sure that there's an exit between the fire, you, and an exit. Never put yourself between the fire and the exit. Know where to stand, know properly where to stand, and how, if things continue to get worse, how can you get out of there? Know how to use the extinguisher, but most important is have someone activate the 911 system. It's no different, and I always use this. This is a defibrillator in a bottle. It's no different than if someone goes down with a cardiac arrest. When we train them in CPR, activate the 911 system. If nothing else, you got help coming. Get the defibrillator. If you don't know how to use it, get someone else use it. And that's the same thing that we teach in the fire safety of this, is even though you may not feel comfortable, if you activate the 911 system and a policeman or a fireman gets there or someone else and you hand them the bottle, you've done something positive. So muscle memory, train, and think about it. And Amy laughs at me all the time because when we go to do test burns and stuff like that, I'm always talking about that. You know, when we go to a show, where's the exits? You know, all the stuff that we talk about and we never do. That's what saves people's lives.
Carpy's print embroidery and wraps, where speed meets style. From RC race wraps to go-kart and full-bodied race car wraps, Carpy's is the leader in custom designs that turn heads and crush the competition. Want your gear to match your passion? We've got you covered with custom merch that shows off your racing spirit, no matter where you go. At Carpy's, we're more than just wraps. We're your race day secret weapon. Fast, bold, unforgettable. Carpy's print embroidery and wraps dominate the track, own the look.
I do have a funny story that I got to tell you this.
Wait, Rick. Wait, let me wrap my head around this. You have a story?
Before you tell that, though, I did want to hop onto the last comment. So whenever there's fire around, I do panic, even when he's doing test stuff and everything else. So, and a lot of times he wants me to extinguish things. I don't like to get close to the fire. My heart rate goes up. I get nervous, even though I know this was planned and I know what I'm doing. So staying calm, I think, is a big piece of it. And then, you know, if there's an opportunity to extinguish it, you know, with the bottle, you know, don't wait for it to show signs of flame. If you see, you know, smoke, which is going to be, you know, the off gassing, spray it, you know, right. Get out. Those are, you know, two main things there.
Sure. Would you also agree too? It's a single use.
Yeah.
Even though it appears like a spray can, you can't go, oh, okay, put it out. I'm going to hold it. You need to discard that one. You need a fresh one.
You definitely want to mark the bottle. It does not usually take a lot of the liquid. You definitely want to mark the bottle. But yeah, you do want to purchase another bottle and know that you've got a full spray available.
Yeah, because the next time you don't want to come.
You might need all 13, 14 seconds.
Exactly.
And now you only have 8.
Exactly.
Right.
So, and we also say spray it until the bottle's empty to guarantee the fire's out, and everything. You're not going to do more damage with that. So.
All right, I got to hear the story, Rick. I got to hear it. Amy set it up perfectly.
So we're driving to Detroit, Michigan, and we're on our way to the International Battery Show on a Sunday, beautiful Sunday morning. It was like 80-some degrees that day last week. And I look at my email, and I have an email from a young lady that said, I just received 3 bottles of Stay Safe in the mail that were shipped from you guys, and I never ordered them. Could you please tell me if these are to the wrong person or how they got to me? And I responded back that we're in travel on our way to Detroit, but on Monday morning I will be more than glad to reach out to the office and have someone in our shipping department tell me who sent them and how they got to her. And she responded, well, thank you. And Monday morning we're in Detroit, and I check my email, and there's a nice email from her. Well, thank you. I was told that my friend had sent me 3 bottles, and she forgot to tell me. But what's even more, I guess I was going to say funny, but more rewarding, is that night her cell phone and charger started on fire. Oh, no. And she put the fire out with our product and said, it worked fantastic. Wow. So my email to her was, could you call your friend and just have her pick the 6 lucky numbers for the lottery on Tuesday? Right. So that was very rewarding. And then another text message I got when we were in Detroit, a number that I didn't know. And the person said, thanks, Aunt Ann. I used your Christmas gift on Sunday night. My stove started on fire. I got into a panic. I didn't know what to do, and I looked, and there was the bottle of Stay Safe. So I quickly opened up the stove, gave it a shot, and the fire went out. She said,
"So that's a good point to bring up. I mean, we're focusing on LiPo fires, right? Because it's kind of the theme of it. But yeah, this will work in other instances, correct?
Yes.
Yep, 9 other types of fire. Yep. So
Okay. Maybe you could run through those really quick.
Mm-hmm.
What
So
are some of the other
Class
names?
A, papers, cardboard. B, the cooking grease, the petroleum, biodiesel, and that are low voltage C. So anything in the lithium, anything in the class B or A fire, we are certified in class A, B, and UL recognized. But unfortunately, there is no certification in the United States for lithium ion. So we had to go to BSI in the Netherlands, which is the British standards of our UL, and get it certified through them. We are the only one that meet the certification by BSI in the world in a liquid form. So, like I said, it will do low voltage, and I want to make that real clear. When I say low voltage, to be at a C extinguisher, we have to be able to do 1,000 volts or higher. But our toaster, that's 110, and our RC chargers and all that, that's 110. So we will be able to do a low voltage class C fire too.
All right, now I'm gonna take you down the road, share common practices at an RC track. Prepare to cringe. We're anything from a 300 milliamp to a 6400 milliamp, 52 kind of in the middle. Common practice, everybody says, oh, these batteries can take it. You can just crank on them and crank on them and crank on them. And I'm going to charge this thing as hot as I can get it, because that's going to put the most power into this battery, and I'm going to beat everybody on the track. What does that make you think, Rick?
Fire waiting to happen. That is it. So I'm going to take us back a few years. And do you remember when we were kids and we had the trains, the L and the different locomotives that ran, on the track, and we had the transformer that you turned the speed up and gave it more power in the track. And all of a sudden, if you gave it too much, that locomotive would hit the curve and go flying off. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what we're doing to the battery. We're taking that locomotive, giving it too much power, and it's going to be uncontrollable and just fly off the track. And I joke about things like that, but that's what we're doing, Or we're taking a car, and on a really, really snowy day, and we're accelerating really fast, and what's going to happen? That car's just out of control. That's the battery, So we can think of things that we do all the time that we might think is cool, but it's not really cool because it's dangerous, and with danger comes,
overcharging is a major risk.
Yeah. So
I'm going to show you the bag. I'm going to show you what I have inside the bag. Okay. Don't judge me, because I did this on purpose. I do not store. I swear I do not store my batteries like this, but I know a lot of people do. So I'm hoping you can see this. Can you see this? It's a bag. Have you seen anything like that before? First of all, it's got Velcro and it's got fabric on the inside. I don't see how fabric on the inside is going to be a good thing. Plus, it's got openings. So, but here's what people do. All right. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 9 batteries. Let's put them in the safe bag. Like all these batteries in there, right? They got these little thin wires on them. Oh, but it's only a 300 milliamp battery. What do you guys think when you see something like that?
So my first question is, how are you keeping the hydrogen fluoride gas in that bag? Velcro is not going to keep it in the bag. That's
but Rick, it says right here. It says LiPo guard.
Hey, my mom said I was the smartest person too. That doesn't mean anything. So that's the problem that Amy talked about. The extinguishers that are out there that says battery is someone who is not caring about safety but looking to sell a product, doesn't understand. You bring that product to my office, I'll start those batteries on fire and I'll watch that bag explode. I would love to do that. I I will. I have a video that I got from an airlines person that I don't. And if I showed you that video, you wouldn't get on a plane
It's very
today.
scary.
You would not get on a plane today. So, just a little tip of a story. If you're on the plane and a stewardess grabs your soft drink or your refreshment, they are trained to grab something within the vicinity of the battery on fire to pour onto the lithium ion battery.
Wow.
So, do you ask for your money back then for that $3 glass of Coke you just bought?
Yeah, because there ain't nowhere to run at that
Yeah.
point.
The other next scary thing is their next tool is to grab the dry chem fire extinguisher. And what did Amy say earlier? Dry chem removes the oxygen. And in an airplane, there is confined space. And I have got dry chem in my lungs before, and it is extremely, extremely uncomfortable, almost to the point that you feel like you're choking. So do you really want to be in that aircraft when that is being given off? And like I said, not here to scare anyone, but that's why being prepared. And Amy had an opportunity this last week to speak with a couple major airline manufacturers that are real interested in our products because they are told to make their batteries safer. Now, I'm also going to throw you one other one when you talk about safety. When you talk about airlines, their footprint of how much green energy they use includes the tugs and all the equipment down on the ground. So the luggage carts now that are moving the baggage and pushing the airplane in and out, a lot of them are using electric vehicles. You know where those electric chargers are charging? Well, when you go sit in the airport terminal, they're charging right underneath you.
Yeah.
And the power shutoff is on the charger. And that's the same thing I talk about with your RC thing is, is it a ground fault circuit? So if the battery starts to go into thermal runaway, it's going to pop the circuit, and stuff like that. Again, we're not here to scare anyone, but it's the hose effect. If there's a hole in the hose down at the faucet, your pressure's not going to be, as good there. So, like I said, I've done a lot of stupid things in my career in the law enforcement, the fire service, and stuff like that. And the most important thing that I tell everyone is be prepared, train, think about it, and everything else. And like I said, it's interesting talking to Derek Thorne from the racing industry. And Amy and I've been to races where I'm like, how did you steer away from that accident? And he goes, I don't know, but I did. Muscle memory. So if that's the biggest thing that we can share is be prepared and train and know how to handle an emergency, and don't believe that some guy or gal who's selling something that says lithium ion safe, or I might as well go get Tupperware and put a sticker on there and put lithium ion storage battery.
Or Tupperware would melt a little differently.
Right. So, Amy, can we, as I said, no kidding aside, I got, this bag, and it honestly, up until now, it's been the bag I've carried. Not going to lie about that. Is there some kind of a case? So let's just say an average battery, which this is actually small. Let's say, average battery is like this size or twice this size. A little bit thicker, a little bit longer. Is there any kind of a bag that you got, or not even a bag, container that you guys would recommend that RC racers could easily carry in their bag as easy as they can carry the spray?
Yeah, I think the main thing is something that's protective. You want to make sure that whatever you're putting in there, isn't on a charger or anything else, and it isn't something that is already like hot. You don't want to take hot batteries and then stick them into another container, because then it's not going to dissipate the heat. So I think protecting them from damage, I think is one of the biggest things. What would you add, Rick?
I would take that bag and put it in a metal box, even like an ammunition box. So, and then, because I am that way, I would tie a string or a rope on there that if that box starts on fire and gets really hot, I can drag it out of my car and pull it to the side of the road. It sounds stupid, but it's going to be better in that metal bucket or box if that goes away. The other thing that we really haven't touched on, and if I can, is some of the people with the small blankets, fire blankets, and stuff like that. And it's really sad to see that a lot of fire departments, police department, industry, and everything has invested a lot of money in these blankets. And in May of this year, UL and NFPA came out and said, get them off your trucks. Because when we put them over, it doesn't matter if it's a pile of batteries at an RC racer, a small blanket, or a large vehicle fire, hydrogen fluoride gas. Have you ever heard of the Hindenburg? What was in the Hindenburg that exploded? Hydrogen fluoride gas. So when we put that blanket over the top, we're actually encapsulating the hydrogen fluoride gas. So we're heating it up to explosive levels. And firefighters and industry people have been severely injured because of explosions under that blanket. And I don't care if it's an RC racer that has a fire blanket and they put it over the small batteries. Everything's in perspective. So that's the biggest thing is, again, that hydrogen fluoride gas that we might think we're putting that bag or that blanket over. If that bag is sealed, and it starts, to really overheat, we could cause an explosion with just the hydrogen fluoride gas. We have talked to more departments in the last 3 months, Amy, that has made their command staff has made them take the blankets off of their rigs because of that. And that's the sad thing is this is so new to us. Lithium batteries are so new. And the thing, like I said, there's 3 kinds of storage. There's the plasmatic, the cylindrical, and the pouch. Then there's 6 kinds of different lithium batteries themselves that each are different. But what are we seeing? Everyone wants to make $1, so we're using the cheapest one, the one that heats up the fastest and everything. When I do my education part with the fire service, 90% of our day-to-day batteries are the cheaper style of lithium-ion batteries. And that may have some impurity in there. So it's a new concept to us. It's a new problem for us. But don't be fooled because, like I said earlier, it's a safe battery. It's us that's making it. So, again, back to that pouch and everything, it's going to do the same thing at the blanket's going to do if there's enough gas buildup in there. So if it was me, I'd go in a metal bucket, put the pouch in there, put the metal bucket, have my bottle of Stay Safe next to it, and like I said, I'd put a rope on there so if it starts in the car, I can open my trunk and pull that out. I'm not going to grab the metal bucket and burn myself, but and I'm going to throw one other thing in there. Have a set of good high temperature gloves when transporting, because throw it on the side of the road, let it burn there, but not in the car. And I'm also going to throw something else out there that we talk about when we train. Every situation is different. And I'm going to use Miller Park, for example, the parking lot. If I'm in the middle of that parking lot tonight and there's no other cars around me, nothing's in danger. Let it burn. An EV car or a lithium battery or anything. I know at RC races there's a lot of people, a lot of spectators, a lot of high energy and everything. But there might be another day when you're at your own track and you're just by yourself, where you just got to walk out your own door or spray your own fire. So again, those are other things when we train, we talk about, how do we clear out the problem if there's a lot of people or if there's 1 or 2 people. And that goes back to training. And I will always say training, training, training. And I'd love to come to one of your tracks and everything and just sit back and watch because I learned so much and then critique it later from the safety standpoint.
I cannot thank you guys enough for taking this time to do this. It's a very important message. It's a lot of common sense to use, but it's one of those things that you just need to be reminded of. Put the brakes on, look at your work area, look what you're doing. Don't have your charger going in your Mountain Dew ready to fall on top of it. And, just, don't have your screwdriver laying against your cell phone, just little stuff like that. So again, Rick, Amy, just thank you so much.
So again, for your RC racers, we have a pouch that you can wear on your belt. You can carry on your backpack that's high visibility that you can put the bottle of Stay Safe right in there. We're selling to workplace so that they have it. Again, we call it the PPE because it's our personal protective gear, and that's part of our gear. It's no different than a police officer wearing his bulletproof vest. Probably not going to get shot, but he wears it. He has it with him. So that's another thing that Amy has really brought to our forefront with our team is how do we make sure that product is not only available to the customer, but with the customer in time of needs and easy to get to. So, Dave, I'm also going to ask Amy if we can throw a couple of those pouches his way so they can give them away.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Amy, thanks for joining us.
No, we appreciate the opportunity to talk to you and share the education and information. We hope that this makes someone's life a little bit safer. That's what we're about.
Well, it's just, looking at the company from the outside in initially, what you guys are doing is just fantastic. I guess that's the word. It's fantastic. Your heart is in it.
Yeah.
Sure, a company needs to be a company, right? A lot of people work underneath that roof, but you guys take the road of let's just keep people safe. Let's save some lives, and the money will come. That'll handle itself because this is what's more important is that we take care of people and keep them safe. And so for that, just applaud you. The whole RC community applauds you guys for what you're doing. Everybody, thank you for joining RC Underground Radio for this I've been doing this for 5 years and have done 137 episodes or something like that. Hands down, the most important episode we've ever done, the most important one. And this one's going to be tough to beat. It's so good. That's why we did 2 episodes. So again, we want to thank Amy. We want to thank Rick for coming. We want to thank our sponsors, Carpies, and also Papa Willie's. They help us to be able to bring entertainment like this to the airwaves and talk about serious conversations and topics, but it was still fun. Amy and Rick were super fun. So, somehow they put the fun in fire suppression, right? So, no, we enjoyed our time, folks, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you for listening to another great podcast on the RCU radio channel. Please like, subscribe, and tell your friends to join the channel for more RC content. RCU Radio. We cover it all.